my slow blues tutorial, break it down. Thought what we'd start off with is get a little metronome going. I set this at 70 BPM, and I think it would be good to kind of get used to time, right? Nothing too crazy, just maybe playing some octaves, right? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practicing the metronome is helpful because, again, you get to feel the time. What I think is really important if you're going to do some simple like octave stuff is do this rubato, right, or out of time. So I'm just playing an octave stretch here. And all that stuff is just the blues scale, right? The minor blues, C minor blues. So we got the 1, the flat 3, the 4, the flat 5, the 5, and the flat 7. And then it starts again on the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different notes in this scale. And so everybody usually gets it down like just playing it in order, right? So, working it up the keyboard. You can really just use these 2 fingers, right? Your thumb and your 3rd finger. You can just use the same 2 fingers. But you'll get bored with the scale if you only play it right in order. So you try to come up with some variations, right? And then you can even harmonize, right? Like keep the, let's say you keep the C on top. Or keep the B flat on top. So play around with that. And then you can use that and then also, you know, come out of that scale. Some of these notes are in the scale, but not here, right? The 3 is not in the minor blues scale because the flat 3 is in there. So you see I go in between. Right, and the 6 is not in the scale. So I'm going between this 3 and 5 and 4 and 6, just like you do in a shuffle. But let's just say we were keeping octaves. So you can play that C blues scale when you're on the 1, when you're on the 4, when you're on the 5, so it's very versatile. So definitely something you should get under your fingers. The next thing I think you should be able to do is all your dominant 7 chords for the, you know, the 3 chords of a typical blues, right? The 1, 4, and the 5. So we've got our triad, and we bring in the dominant 7, flat 7, right? And so there's a number of different ways to finger this, right? So however you choose to finger that, maybe you want to double up on the C, so you use all your fingers, or sometimes you'll not play the C low and high, and so maybe you just leave your pinky out of it. But it's important to have the root position, and then it's also important to have the first inversion and then the second inversion. because when you can play, when you have those hand shapes, you can move up and down the keyboard and between each of the different chords, the 1, 4, and the 5, and you can choose whichever hand shape will get you there faster, right? So like, imagine if I had to stay in root position. So like I'm playing a C7, and then I have to go to an F7, and then a G7. Right, that's all root position. But let's say I'm in the root position on the 1. My fingers are hitting the the extra notes. So and here's a good example. Let's say I go from the root position to the second inversion. It's not much of a change, right? And then I want to go to the G, I might go to the first inversion. So if you've never played around with this, like the root position is your thumb on the root of the chord. So my thumb is on the C, and I'm playing the B flat with my 4th finger. So to move up the piano would go to the first inversion. What would be the first finger that would get to the C? That's the pinky. So they're playing those same notes with the pinky, with the C on top rather. That's my first inversion. And then the second inversion would be what finger would get to the C if I kept moving my hand up the keyboard. And that would be the middle finger. So second inversion, right? And there's those same notes. So again, we had the C on the bottom, we had the C on the top, and then we kind of had the C in the middle. And so you want to be able to do that with the 1. You want to be able to do that with the 4. You want to be able to do that with the 5. Right, and you got to practice that. So as you're moving around, so let's get the tempo going, the metronome going again. So that's just the root position. Second inversion. First inversion. First inversion. Second inversion. Root. so practice jumping around within the chord, right? So root, again, your thumb is on the root of the chord. First inversion, your pinky's on the C. Second inversion, your middle finger's on the C. And then be able to do that in F, in G, and then you've got them all, right? At least for the simple 3-chord blues. And so whether you're playing a simple left hand or whether you're doing a shuffle, you see how I'm just moving my inversions around, right? Yeah, so you gotta have those inversions. So take a look at something like this. Right, to what did I play? I only played the notes. Right, it's the C7. So actually I'm borrowing some of the blues scale, so